That's where, see, this is a problem for me.
I got tapped out by Kurt Angle, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was with Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, man. Those are my peoples.
Okay, so didn't know that. And now I'm incredibly jealous. Yeah, so like a problem for me as a personality. I always go for the other guy in everything. So I was a Macho Man guy, not a Hulk Hogan guy. Like Macho Man,
one of the best interviewers of all time.
And so, like, as I've been telling you all morning, I'm going through these workouts, right? So what I do is I put old 80s wrestling pay-per-views on while I'm working out to distract me. So I'm like in 1989 right now, SummerSlam. So like I'm going back to like 87 and I'm doing all the big pay-per-views every year to go through.
So you got to go, one of the most entertaining things, you got to go Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair, some epic battles, right? And you talk about guys that are entertaining. See, like guys like Goldberg, guys like Hulk Hogan, they only got 3 or 4 moves, so it's really boring because they're going to give you a little gorilla press, give you a leg drop, nothing to see here. But you talk about guys like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ric Flair, like the showmanship, the craftsmanship, Macho Man from the top rope. Oh, yeah! Snap into a Slim Jim. You know what I'm saying? I love that, man, because he can sell it to Piper's Pit, all that stuff. I'm talking about what's his name? Lonnie Love. I love you.
The faces are a delight for the radio audience. So I'll tell you you want my Ric Flair story? I'm going to give you my Ric Flair story. Traveling a couple of seasons ago, I was part of the digital show that led up to game day. So me and Maria and David Pollock, and we were doing the show every week. And so we were in Georgia. And they were like, hey, Ric Flair's going to be here. Do you want to do some pre-tape stuff with Ric Flair? And for me being an 80s wrestling fan, I'm like, oh, my God, yes. So I went and hung out with him for the day, and we did all these pre-tapes. The greatest guy, like the nicest guy. So then he shows up for our digital pregame show right before game day, and he had brought these custom-made championship belts that he had signed, and he brought one for Pollock and one for Maria because he knew them. And we didn't know it. And so like it was so apologetic in the moment. He's like, hey, sorry, we didn't know each other. Yeah. I brought one for.
You went on the scouting report.
Yeah. But here's the real with me. So like he gives one to Pollock and one to Maria Taylor, right? And then right after that, immediately after he walks off set, because Pollock is maybe the nicest guy ever. There was a little kid there that was such a fan. And Pollock just looks over and he's like, I don't need this here. And so he gave the custom Ric Flair championship belt that WWE made, signed by Ric Flair, and I'm looking over there thinking like, can I take it from the kid? I don't know if I can take it from the kid.
You should have bought it from the kid.
See,
that's you little cheap. You should have went in your pocket. You should have bought it from the kid. The kid would have went and bought a PlayStation or something, and you would have had something that the iconic Ric Flair, probably outside of Hulk Hogan, the second most important wrestler in history, and you let it walk away for $20.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, okay,
you disappoint me. You go in the corner for the rest of the segment. I got this, ESPN.
Oh man, he's not wrong. Like I'm disappointed by my own cheapness. I'm so cheap. I didn't even think of bribing a kid, and the kid would have taken it. Like I was at game day.
He can't appreciate Ric Flair.
I could have gotten like Herbie to come down and do like a meet and greet thing, like greased everybody a little bit on that, and like
you could have bought him a funnel cake and you'd have been straight.
Somebody clip this off with the bosses at ESPN. Let's send it to Ric Flair and just, hey Rick, like I'm openly pleading with you. I still want a championship belt.
I tried to buy one of his robes.
Oh, see, that's because you live in that Bart Scott world. Like in the Jason Fitz world, unless the robe, and like now, if it's an action figure version of the robe for like $30 on eBay, maybe. But
he used to have this old lady that used to make him hand beat. Like you think about his robes, Macho Man's, all the like the Stones, and I feel like with the beat, it's like Bedazzled for men. You know what I'm saying? People don't understand that wrestling is like a soap opera for men, right? All the stories and stuff that goes on. Now, I don't need The Bachelor. Give me some good old wrestling. Now, these guys nowadays, they're flawed superstars, because they can't really work the mic like those guys used to back in the day. I mean, you talk about Piper's Pit, hitting Snook in the head with the coconut. Oh, man, I'm here for all that smoke.
If I redid my life, I would have become a manager in wrestling. Like out there running my mouth.
You look like a little Jimmy Hart.
Thank you.
You got a very punchable face. I mean, you would have been able to sell that, perfectly. You can play the perfect heel.
Oh, I'm just going to use your connections somehow to get back to Flair.
You look like the Dynamite Kid a little bit, by the way.
Well, like, because I'm getting super jacked.
No, not that
like
kid.
I'm getting jacked.
Not the Dynamite Kid from British Bulldog. The 1, 2, 3 kid. I'm sorry. I misspoke. 1, 2, 3 kid.
Well,
Sorry, you got popcorn muscles.
But I've been doing workouts. All right, it's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
You like a band guy. You like a band guy. You're not putting no pig iron on there. You up there with the resistance bands.
Wait, hey, you know what?
Glorified Pilates.
God, you're not even wrong. Like the little resistance bands with the leg workouts are such a pain in the butt. Bart Scott, Jason Fitz, while we've already now decided which one of us is absolutely putting the analytics glasses on, that's what I'm going to do right now for you. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to tell you one thing that eliminates everybody, any team, from Super Bowl contention. You ready for it?
Let's do it.
Paying anybody the highest paid at their position. Hear me out. I had our great team at ESPN Stats and Info. I'll credit to Ryan Bissell. Did a great job for us. I had him track all the way back to 5 years. Now, I'm going to eliminate kickers and punters because they're not football players, according to you guys.
They're not even people.
We're going to take every other position in the NFL over the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. One player, Rob Gronkowski, has been the highest paid at his position and won a Super Bowl. Nobody else has.
Okay.
So everybody comes in and says, oh, my God, you can't pay a quarterback and win. Guess what? You can't pay anybody and win. So if you're the 49ers that's out there paying Kittle, that's out there throwing money out this week, right? If you're throwing money out at Warner, if you're everybody that's looking at Darius Leonard, we all think is going to get a massive deal. Here's the word for everybody. If you pay your favorite team, if your favorite player, like he's the best in the NFL, you will not win a Super Bowl. Think about that.
So you're saying no shot forever for
this year. It's average annual value by year.
Aaron Donald, right? You're like Aaron Donald's not in there.
So this year, like you can eliminate Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Hopkins. So like right now, based on the graphic we have up for the radio people, we have a graphic up, highest paid players by position by average annual value. So I can tell you that the Chiefs, the Panthers, the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Chargers, the Colts, the Rams and the Broncos have no shot at the Super Bowl because it's only been done once in all of the positions in the last 5 years, and that's Gronk.
I think my homeboy would probably have a little something to say about that. I think he may take that bet from you.
Which homeboy?
My homeboy.
Oh, Mahomes?
Yeah, my homeboy.
Yeah, well, first of all, we all thought Mahomes was going to win it last year. Didn't work out. So, it didn't work out for him. And by the way, Gronkowski did it in 2018. So if you even look over the last 3 years, like that's it. That's it. 2018. If you go all the way back to 2016, he's the only person that did it. He did it in 16 and 18. No other player has done it at all in the last 5.
So what you're saying, if you're going to pay somebody and have a shot, it better be a tight end.
Yeah, well, it better be Gronk. Like, you're going to pay somebody to have a shot, it better be Gronk. But it speaks to sort of the process of how certain teams have managed to get it done. I mean, you have to look across the board and say, hey, when you pay somebody, and we've become so sort of callous to this conversation on the quarterback side. Like, there's this mantra that once you pay a quarterback, you can't win, which also isn't really true when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl. But yeah, it does make it more difficult. But the argument I would make is that realistically, every single fan needs to spend more time focused on the draft and the first 4 to 5 years of every draft class than they do about anybody that's getting paid. Because once you have to reward your own players, which is the right thing to do, but once you reward them at an epic level, you just can't win a Super Bowl.
I mean, it's surprising to think that one of the Legion of Boom, when Russell won, it wasn't getting paid a lot of money. Or when Ben first won his first title, like one of those defensive players like Joey Porter or somebody wasn't making like the most money. I mean, that's an interesting stat, but I think it could be a little bit, you're digging too deep. You're killing me, Petey.
I mean, I'm not digging deep. Like at the end of the
Geek Squad, look for the one.
That is
you search most difficult, unknown, stat.
I think that what bothers me the most about it is actually not the concept of not paying anybody. It bothers me that we become so just consumed with pay a quarterback and lose when in fact that's just the way it seems to work across the board.
Well, in recent history, it's been win with a young quarterback and then you're going to lose some pieces once you pay him, but he's got to prove and be ready to carry your team. Like, because, I remember Ozzie, I can remember Tannenbaum, they would say, okay, well, Bart, if you want